In the heart of the secluded vale of Alvin, surrounded by dense forests and towering mountains, lived a young woman named Elara. She was a gifted weaver, renowned for her unmatched skill. Her tapestries told stories so vivid that those who gazed upon them swore they could feel the warmth of the sun in her woven skies or hear the whispers of the rivers she depicted. But for all her fame, Elara led a simple life, weaving in her quiet cottage by the riverbank, content to create beauty in a world that often lacked it. One crisp autumn evening, as Elara worked on a tapestry of a blooming meadow, a knock came at her door. Standing there was an old woman cloaked in a mantle of silver feathers. Her eyes sparkled with an otherworldly light, and she introduced herself as Melis, a wandering storyteller. "I have traveled far and wide, seeking beauty and sharing tales," Melis said, her voice like the soft rustle of leaves. "And I have heard of your gift, Elara. I offer you something rare in exchange for your hospitality, a thread spun from the dreams of the stars themselves. But beware, it holds great power, and power always demands a price." Intrigued, Elara agreed. After sharing a meal with Melis, the old woman placed a small spool of thread into her hands. It shimmered like moonlight and felt warm to the touch, pulsing faintly as though alive. Melis left before dawn, disappearing into the mist like a shadow, but her words lingered in Elara's mind. The next morning, Elara decided to test the thread's magic. She wove a small bird, its feathers iridescent and its eyes as bright as gemstones. The moment she tied the last knot, the bird sprang to life, fluttering its delicate wings and chirping a song so sweet it brought tears to her eyes. The magical bird perched on her shoulder, and Elara marveled at her creation. Over the next few weeks, she experimented further, weaving lifelike animals, flowers that never wilted, and even a fountain that flowed with sparkling water. Her creations brought joy to the villagers, who came from far and wide to request enchanted tapestries. But as Elara wove more and more, she noticed something unsettling. Her nights were plagued by strange dreams, visions of shadowy figures watching her, their whispers growing louder with each creation. The spool of magical thread, once full, was now dangerously thin, and Melis's warning echoed in her mind. Power always demands a price. One day, a knight arrived in the village, his armor tarnished and his face drawn with exhaustion. He introduced himself as Sir Kale and carried grim news. A great dragon had awakened in the northern mountains, its fiery wrath threatening to destroy the kingdom. "Our armies cannot defeat it," Kale said, his voice heavy with despair. "But I have heard of your magic, Elara. If you could weave a creature strong enough to face the beast, we might yet have hope." Elara's heart sunk as she looked at the nearly empty spool of thread. She knew the magic was dangerous, but she couldn't turn her back on the knight's plea. That night, under the light of a full moon, she began her greatest work. For 3 days and nights, Elara wove tirelessly, pouring every ounce of her skill into the tapestry. She created a phoenix, its feathers blazing with golden flames, its eyes fierce and determined. As the final thread slipped through her fingers, the phoenix burst from the loom in a brilliant flash of light, filling the room with warmth and power. The phoenix spread its wings and let out a cry that echoed across the valley. Together, Kale and the phoenix set out to confront the dragon. The battle raged for hours, shaking the earth and lighting up the sky with fire and fury. But in the end, the phoenix's relentless spirit overwhelmed the dragon, reducing it to ash. The kingdom celebrated its salvation, and Kale returned to the village to thank Elara. But when he arrived at her cottage, she was gone. The villagers told him how, after finishing the phoenix, Elara had begun to fade, her form becoming translucent until she vanished entirely. In her place stood her loom, now silent, and a tapestry unlike any other. It depicted a breathtaking scene of a vast, starry sky filled with magical creatures, including the phoenix. At its center was Elara herself, her hands outstretched as if offering the beauty she had created to the world. The villagers wept for Elara, for they knew her magic had come at the ultimate cost. Yet her creations lived on, bringing hope and wonder to all who encountered them. Her story spread far and wide, becoming a legend told in hushed tones by firesides, a tale of sacrifice, courage, and the enduring power of creation. And sometimes, on clear nights, travelers in the Vale of Alwyn swear they can hear the soft hum of a loom carried on the wind, a reminder that Elara's spirit still weaves through the fabric of the mystical realms she brought to life.